Just an FYI, I call traditional or conservative or Christian conservative men TradCon Men for short. And today we're going to have a few lessons from Twitter about the leopard eating party. So this well-known tweet, I never thought the leopards would eat my face, sobs woman who voted for the leopards eating people's face party. I'm going to get to this tweet from Rebecca in a moment. Before that, let's look at this graphic. The first graphic is, and that's why you should vote for the leopards eating your party faces. And then the second block says, haha, but not my face, right? And then the leopard just looks. And then she just looks, not my face, right? So y'all needed to see this in graphic form. I'm still going to get to Rebecca's tweet, but here's a couple of comments. Stomp says, I tried to read them, some of the comments. I tried to read them, and even after she complained at the start, she was still saying how great they were. I'm so confused. And Beth was like, it was actually insane. Insane. And The Road Just Travel says, the best part is all the conservative men telling her she's right. They effing hate her when she's not silently at their boot. And Miles just wondered, you think she'll finally get the message? All right, let's see what her tweet was. So let's see what Rebecca V, anti-communist, says. She says, I spent all of my life as a conservative, even after growing up in a liberal household. I've defended conservatism all by myself in college classrooms. I've been called stupid and a traitor for voting against my best interests as a woman. I never believed conservatives were sexist or racist, and I defended them with pride. But now I realize conservative men don't give a F about me and won't defend me specifically because I'm a woman, and will go out of their way to advocate against me. Not sure where the emotional hate is coming from, but maybe the liberals were right. Maybe women don't belong on the right. I love how Find Out season is unveiling itself to these women. We tried to tell them, yes, conservative men, TradCon men are both sexist and racist, and it takes them turning on her before it clicks. Maybe they were right. Here's a bigger picture of her in her MAGA hat. This is the tweet that made her comment from Declaration of Memes saying repeal the 19th, because Matthew Cockra a while ago said, okay, we tried women's suffrage and discovered that their primary political concern is unaliving their own babies. Can we finally call this experiment failed and move on? The TradCon men have been telling women loud and clear for a while now that they want to strip their right to vote. And these women will just march on along. They're going to keep on going with these men that clearly don't believe that they should have an opinion, a voice, and a vote that matters. TradCon men on social media have done more for feminism and the Democrats than the Democrats and feminists could ever. Like Kristen says, as a pro-life conservative, watching Charlie Kirk say he'd make a 10-year-old rape victim carry a pregnancy to term, I started wondering what kind of monsters I've thrown in with. Sad face. And Rebecca V says, I'm pro-life too and actually hate abortion, but to suggest because it's a big issue for a lot of women that we should have our rights removed is absolutely ridiculous. There's no reason to have your rights removed because you have different belief system. Eli says, I actually think you stumbled on why abortion is such a key issue for many women. Elements on the right hate female autonomy much more than they hate abortion. Many women, myself included, don't think it'll stop abortion. Then Rebecca says, yeah, as much as I hate it, I think you're right. And I think the reality is for many men, particularly the effeminate men, their only way of performing masculinity is by having dominance over a woman, even if it's not real and quite literally just a performance. Perceiving themselves as about women is like part of their identity. So I like that these conservative women are talking amongst themselves, and I did not insert myself into the conversation. I'm just taking screenshots because they're coming into their own to Find Out season by themselves. Eli says, even look at the JD Vance and the childless cat lady thing. In his worldview, there is no room for women in politics. A world where women are equally represented will never look like his vision. It's fundamentally incompatible. And Rebecca says, I hate it. I really wish Trump would have picked somebody else, as if Trump is a good person at all towards women at all. Ugh. All right. Eli or Ellie says, at least it's pretty clear that there's no future for him in the party after this election, win or lose. He's a charisma black hole. Now, to some seemingly non conservatives who did insert themselves into the conversation, saying, it's beyond me how you think Trump has any more of a positive view on women than guys like JD. And then Nope says, right, I read through this whole thread just to find out she ain't learned a damn thing. Someone said, maybe you should come on over to the Democrat side. And she says, I appreciate the offer, but I just can't get into progressivism. As awful as some conservatives can be, and as kind as welcoming as some liberals can be, I just can't support leftism. I think it's inherently bad for us and our country, even though the right hates women. That's why she deserves the leopard eats their faces party. She deserves this because she knows it, she understands it, she can't really compartmentalize it anymore because they have turned on her. Tater Magooish says, you're against progress? Weird. I don't understand people who want to stay in the dark ages. Now I'm moving on to Hilary Crowder, and the TradCon Men simply hate this woman because she left an abusive relationship and she's able to win some money for, supporting the kids that her ex-husband and she made. She says, I'm so sorry, in bold. She says, after becoming a single mother, words I never thought could possibly describe me because I'm not like those other girls. I was a good girl and did things the right way. I added that part. She says, I have much remorse for the judgment I held for the women that find themselves in this position because everybody has to touch the stove. They have to touch the stove. All right. Sorry. Every story is different. Many are simply doing the best they can, loving their children and creating a happy home under circumstances that are not ideal. Now, I am smacked my gob. I am gobsmacked. I follow this woman and people send me this stuff because she is in her find out season. It took all of these TradCon men turning on her and stick on her because they can't stand women who can get away. Patrina says it's a byproduct of misogyny that the stigma is primarily attached to being a single mother. The parent who stayed is ridiculed and blamed if it's the woman. Many single moms married or dated someone they thought loved them, but they were abandoned. The stigma is ingrained in many. Hilary says, insightful. And then Mother of Dragon says, it's not insightful. Everyone with half a brain can see this. Unfortunately, you and other women like you bought into this misogyny to partner with a certain type of man, only remorseful after it happened to you. Gen X RN says, thank you. I was a divorced mother of 2 tiny kids, and someone had the audacity to say to me, I thought all single moms were just ladies of the night. With an earnest smile on her face, divorcing my deadbeat, verbally abusive, alcoholic husband was the best, hardest choice for us because it was a hard choice for her because she had to decide, do I really believe that having 2 people in the household is the best because it was ingrained in her brain versus a happy, healthy household with just one healthy person? Hilary says, I'm so sorry that was said to you. You made the hard and right choice. Moonlight says, I'm glad you now have compassion for single mothers. Many had no choice but to leave an unhealthy relationship. Hilary says, very true. Sharon says, pay no attention to the broken home single mother BS. I brought up 2 boys myself, both flourished and excelled in their exams, both know how to cook, clean, and do their own laundry, all the while being dragged through the courts for 7 years. I will say this again, TradCon Men are doing more for the Democrats and feminism than feminists and Democrats could ever do. They are creating more feminists day by day. It takes a lot of abuse, but the TradCon Men are willing to go out and verbally abuse these women daily. and I'm going to take the screenshots. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Now we have some tweets that highlight how much of these people are hypocrites and liars. So Newsmax, the alt-right, right-leaning news organization, had to settle a defamation lawsuit with Smartmatic. This person continues with, you know why you dumb, MAGAs? It's because they had no evidence. Now they have to pay up. These people at Newsmax and many of these MAGA people, they just ran with Donald Trump's lies that the election was stolen. Nothing that they said was backed by anything. They just ran with it. And that's why, and I didn't make a tweet about this. I'm sorry, I didn't make a screenshot or a news article about this, that Rudy Giuliani has lost his law license in Washington, D.C., because they were making these allegations with no proof. And these MAGA people eat it up. That's why Trump loves these low information voters that don't need any evidence. They just eat up BS. This BS is so good. Danny said Mark Cuban should buy it cheap and turn it into a decent channel. Just Chase says it's almost like the election wasn't rigged. Orwell's Ghost says they should make the MAGA viewers pay too, because nobody can actually be that stupid to believe this stuff, can they? Bill says, I've heard a $500 million. That's gotta hurt. I hope it is a $500 million. Mike Brady says, that's too bad. I hope there would be a trial so that all the evidence would be made public. And Jeffrey just wanted to remind us all that Fox was actually sued, and they had to say that they were not a news organization, that they were simply entertainment. Do y'all remember when they got sued and they had to admit that they didn't actually provide news? Please keep that in mind. Fox News is not a news organization. It's an entertainment site, and it's only entertaining for the people who love misinformation and dumb stuff. Now we segue to this tweet, and another MAGA offed himself. So this person was lying and stealing money, and instead of taking responsibility and accountability for his actions, he took that way out, because these people are hypocrites. They're liars and they're hypocrites, but these MAGA people just vote for them. Here is the story. Retired Judge Stuart Rosenwasser unalives himself at Orange County home as FBI arrived to arrest him. And here he is. Please know and understand that any political person who steals money, Democrats or Republicans, need to be held accountable for their crimes. And when they do get caught, they need to pay restitution and they need to serve jail time, just like any person that's not in politics would. So keep that in mind. But these people seem to have an aversion to being held accountable. That's the reason why they are so perfectly comfortable with denying that Trump is a felon and a thief, despite saying that they are the party of law and order. They are the party of law and order as long as there are no consequences for them. It's wild. They're cognitive dissidents. All right, so this story. New York, and this is in New York, a former prosecutor and a retired judge in Orange County, New York, unalived himself Tuesday as the FBI arrived at his home to arrest him. Authorities arrived at Stuart Rosenwasser's house in Campbell Hall, a senior retirement community, in connection to a corruption case, law enforcement sources told ABC. Rosenwasser, 72, had been under investigation for allegedly taking $63,000 in bribes. Sources say Rosenwasser pointed a pew-pew at an agent who fired a shot. Rosenwasser then barricaded himself, and it's believed he fatally pew-pewed himself. A federal grand jury indicted Rosenwasser on bribery charges, accusing him of launching an investigation in 2022 when he was working for the DA's office to help a longtime associate, a man known as Marty Sudani, accused his nephew of stealing nearly $2 million from him. In a text, Rosenwasser allegedly said, I'm putting maximum effort into this. We will utilize all available assets. Court documents show copies of money orders and checks made out to the lawyer. And in another exchange, Rosenwasser allegedly wrote, I will always protect you and help you. Rosenwasser abruptly resigned from the Orange County DA's office in June. In a statement, his former boss said, "It's truly heartbreaking that it ended this way. My heartfelt condolences to his family." So that is what happened. Okay, so now for some more of these tweets. This person says he unalived himself over $63,000. Jesus Christ, these pro-life people really don't value life much at all, do they? And Impromptu Moniker, the one that shared the story, says probably more tied to his ego. He spent his entire life pretending he was a good person, and it finally came time for everyone to see he was actually a piece of and he was scared of what that would feel like, which is even more cowardly. DJ Hedrick said he had the decency. Okay, so this set of screenshots. Impromptu Moniker says, as much as I hate to see it, I warned a lot of them this day would come, and they told me I was the crazy one. I don't feel bad for him, but I feel bad for those who cared about him. And then E says, let's not take pleasure in someone's death, please. We are better than that. And then Impromptu Moniker says, the time for the high road has expired for now. And that's really where we are. These people are doing this to themselves. Talking about the fact that they're doing it to themselves is not, it's not beyond the pale. Look at how let's look at how the Republicans are acting, how they're demonizing whole groups of people, how they cheered for Nancy Pelosi's husband getting beat down, how they demonize whole groups of people that are not like them, like gay folks, like non-white people. They cheer for lots of stuff. So trying to be better than them, no, no. When they go low, we go to hell. And with that, I'm going to leave it there. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.